Episode 22, get ready for another 7 obscure, well, sort of obscure toy lines from the 80s and 90s, starting off with American Gladiators. American Gladiators was a television show from 1989 to 1996. The toys based off the TV show were made by Mattel and Irwin, and they were released in 1991. It featured 4-inch action figures and playsets that were based on the events from the show. Sadly, the series didn't do too well in the States, and some items were only released in Canada. This is probably why I remember it so well and why it was so hard to find a commercial for it. Gladiator names: Gemini, Laser, Nitro, Turbo, Zap, Sky, Ice, Hawk, Saber. Eagle Force by Mego, 1980. Eagle Force were 3-inch metal military-style toys. They had poor articulation, decent paint jobs, and only a few vehicles and playsets. But these guys were a lot of fun until they were murdered by G.I. Joe. Pretty much gone by 1982, here in Canada I was still able to find these in Zellers up until the late 80s, but it was mostly the playsets and accessories. I guess that's because it lasted longer in Canada and Europe than it did in the United States. Probably again why I remember it. The Complete Commando Assault Outfit. Oh boy, do I remember this one fondly. The Golden Girls. Wait a minute. No, not these ones. These ones, The Golden Girls and the Guardians of the Gemstones by Galoob, 1984. The story is, the Golden Girls are the Guardians of the Gems, which they use to power themselves up and protect their land of Argonia from evil. Each toy was 6 inches tall with 5 points of articulation and a die-cast metal shield. You know, this was a pretty cool attempt at making a kick-ass girls toy line, but you could still see where the marketing play was because each figure came with 9 individual different fashion styles. So, you still see where they were trying to make their money. Along with these, there was the Halloween costumes, lunch boxes, and t-shirts. I've got to be honest with you guys, this is obscure even to me. I've never heard of it. Real-life superhero Mr. T by Galoob, 1983. So in the early 80s, Mr. T was everywhere. And Galoob cut a deal with Mr. T to put out a 12-inch fully articulated Mr. T doll. He came with authentic looking jewelry and tons of accessories and different clothings that you could put with him. Originally he came with his A-Team style clothing. But there was tons of stuff. A cyclist, a boxer, army grunt, a firefighter, a wrestling buddy style guy, a ragdoll, a talking Mr. T, a water war Mr. T. There was tons of stuff. Mr. T Mania ran wild in the 80s. Power Lords by Revel. Another one, 1983. Atom Power was given the power jewel to transform into the Lord of Power to protect the galaxy from the evil Arcus. The toy line only saw 2 waves of figures featuring about 10 characters, most of them with a special ability where you would turn the torso around to reveal their alter ego. These toys are infamous for being easily breakable at the joints though. Luckily, due to a small cult following of Power Lords, there's a lot of reboot and custom toys available now. The Universal Monsters from Remco, 1980. 3 waves of the Remco Mini Monsters were released. These were the perfect marriage of the classic characters with a Star Wars feel. The first wave are sometimes referred to as non-glow, as the subsequent series were all glow in the dark. The card art is some of the best done ever. It's striking, it's gloomy, but somehow retains that late-night movie monster feel. The Monsters Gallery included the Phantom, the Wolfman, the Frankenstein monster, the Creature, the Mummy, and of course Dracula. Starriers by Tomy, 1984. The Starriers was a robot toy line created by Tomy in association with Marvel Comics. Marvel even released 6 mini-comics with the toys. The Starriers are basically robots that you could deconstruct and rebuild with all the different parts, so it was encouraged to buy more toys of that toy line. The toys also came with miniature silver-painted humans as the pilots. Some toys even came out with motorized pieces in the later part of the series. The toys did not do well commercially, and after the first wave, the amount of figures was scaled back immensely. And that's gonna do it for another episode, episode 22 of obscure, well, sort of obscure, toy lines from the 80s and 90s. As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and comment if you like the video. And also, if I haven't covered a toy, an obscure toy that you remember from your childhood, let me know about it down in the comments and I'll be sure to add it in a upcoming video. Thanks a lot, guys. See you in about a week.